Hey guys, it's PonkyPlays. Welcome to our Raid Shadow Legends video. So in today's video, I'm gonna be really quickly running through the event dungeon. So as of making this video, I think it was yesterday when they went ahead and changed the the artifacts on the event dungeon. So I'm gonna really quickly go through what they used to be to what they are now, my opinions on it. Also going to talk a little bit on the Forge Pass that just started not too long ago, and my opinions on that too. And then I'll show you guys my team for the event dungeon, and yeah, that'll be about it probably. So the old version, it's the Chronophage set. It's definitely they did the rebalance on it, and it is a much better set than it used to be for sure. So before, it kind of wanted to give a little bit of bulk, some resistance, and like a very tiny bit of speed. And then the immutable stack was very, very weak for what it should have been. Definitely nowhere near as good as the pinpoint set. Made the event dungeon not very relevant. Really, I don't think most people were farming it. And I was at the opinion where if maybe they had an event dungeon tournament that had some good rewards, maybe you would want to go for it. It was still okay to farm the accessories just for that little bit extra stats, but it was definitely not the best. With the new version though, it's basically pinpoint but for resistance champions, I guess. Resistance builds instead of accuracy builds. And then the immutable stack or the immutable buff definitely got a much better buff to it. So before the immutable, basically each stack of immutable would block one cooldown attempt. So for example, if you're facing a Yumiko that does 3, it reduces the cooldown of, or I guess increases the cooldown of your skills by 3. If you got one stack of immutable before the rebalance, it would have just blocked one of those 3 attempts, so you would have gotten 2 cooldown instead of 3. Now, from what I'm reading at least, it seems that each stack just completely blocks an attempt at a skill's cooldown. So much, much better. It's still very niche and a lot more PvP than anything else, but way better. And then you're getting a little bit less resistance. You're not getting any HP, which is, you know, fine, but you're getting a lot more speed for the set bonuses, which also means that just having like a 2-piece per set is really, really nice if you just want to get that little bit of resistance and like a decent amount of speed. It's a really, really good set to do that. And again, this is the resistance version of pinpoint. So for pinpoint, you could really put it on anybody, but now pinpoint is mostly going to be focusing on your accuracy champions, and then this can be for your resistance, you know, your support champions, people that just don't place any debuffs and want to have good resistance. Like, this is going to be very decent for them. So it's definitely a much better set now than it used to be. The rebalance was very much needed and very nice. For the Forge Pass, they added the 3rd tier, the Platinum tier, which is just for relic crafting materials. I think like the Gold Pass, as far as I know, you can pay $20 and just have the Gold Pass and get all the perks, and as long as you're consistent with it, you're getting all of these 2nd tier rewards. Could be better value, but it's not terrible. But paying a whole $30 extra for the Platinum Pass, and the rewards that you're getting for it is, you know, you're getting the relic crafting material, which you're still more guaranteed even at the legendary crafting material level to pull epics than anything else. And then every now and then you're getting like different rarity gemstones. It's really, really underwhelming. If maybe instead you were getting like guaranteed rarities of relics. So like instead of this being a gemstone, it will be like a guaranteed random legendary relic of this set. That's definitely a much better reward in my opinion, but as it is right now, it's not even close to being worth the money. And then I don't know, again, if getting the platinum tier also includes the gold pass alongside it. I would assume so. I'm not saying that it does or it doesn't. I'm hoping though that it does, because at least in that case you're getting some value out of it, but I don't think it's worth it. I'm not a pay to win though. I don't really, like I said, put money into the games. Every now and then, very rarely do I. So for somebody who constantly is spending money, this might be a little bit more worth it, but I don't think it is. But that's my opinion. Let me know if you guys think otherwise, or what your thoughts on it are, I guess, in general. So right now there's the Titan event going on, which I am actually going for because I did go for Donatello. So if I can go all the way to the 5-star soul, that would be great because it makes a huge difference. It's definitely going to be a bit of grinding, but I don't think so far it's not been too bad. I did the Ice Golem, and I think I did like 22 battles total so that I can get the rewards for it, which is like nowhere near as much as you usually need to grind in order to get usually the rewards for like fragments or fusions, which is, I usually feel like I have to do like 60 battles for each dungeon in order to get those fragments or fusion champions, right? So I didn't think it was too bad, which is nice. And then the relic that you're getting from this on the tier 4, from what I was looking, seems like an okay relic. It doesn't seem like anything crazy like back in the day when you would get like cat's gaze or whatnot. From just looking at it really quickly, where it has a 30% chance to activate a delay effect when receiving fatal damage, and it's on a 3-turn cooldown. The first thing, the stats that you're getting from it are okay, but nothing great. If it was like crit damage earlier on, or if there was some speeding here, that would be nice. Or maybe even like accuracy, I don't know, but it's not like the most enticing stat-wise. So right now there's no way, at least I can't see of a way to like look what the upgrades will be. I'm assuming it'll raise the 30% chance, but I don't know if it'll raise it all the way to 100% chance. If that's the case, that's definitely a lot better. But you can look up the delay. I don't know if it's a buff. So here it is, the delay. Effect will prevent a champion from receiving fatal damage, instead delaying it to their next turn. A champion under the delay effect can still be killed by enemies on their turn. So I'm assuming it just blocks the first instance of fatal damage. And then if a champion under the delay effect receives healing equal to the amount of delayed damage, they will not receive any damage on their next turn. If they receive some healing but not enough to equal the value of the delayed damage, they will receive the amount of delayed damage remaining. And then if a champion does not receive any healing before their next turn, they will receive all of the fatal damage when their next turn starts. So being able to have like really good healers paired up with somebody with this would be really nice, because you can just cancel out that delay effect. And then the thing though, it is on a 3-turn cooldown, so you'll still have to like wait for 3 turns before it can reactivate. And then if you don't do enough healing, it seems like you'll still want to do over half of the damage healing. Otherwise, you'll take the delayed damage then, and then your champion's gonna die. But I don't know. I don't know how it calculates. I don't know if it shows you how much. If it like almost puts up maybe like a shield, but like an anti-shield, so that when you do the healing, it like reduces the delay damage. I don't know how that works. It's definitely going to be interesting to see, but I mean, it doesn't seem bad. And then if you're I wonder if pairing this with like block damage or unkillable will also make it so that you'll take that delay damage on your turn, but because you're under either block damage or unkillable, you'll probably still be left alive, which, you know, will give you more of a chance to get back to the cooldown again and then re-trigger the delay. It's definitely an interesting one. It's not a bad relic at all, but I don't know if it's as strong as some of the other relics. We'll just have to like, see if I can get it and play around with it, I guess. But I'll really quickly show you guys the champions that I'm using for the event dungeon. And then I'll show you their builds really quickly. They're not the easiest to get champions. I've gotten lucky with some pools. So my first champion I'm using is Sulfurion, who is really, really gross and awesome. I've got him built with my reflex set just to try and get to his A2 as often as possible, because that's where all of his damage and healing and shields and turn meter, everything's happening with his A2 basically. So I figured reflex and then trying to build him as fast and as bulky as possible with high accuracy as well. I also managed to get him with a one-piece refresh ring. That way that's like an extra bit of potential to get to his A2 or even his revival if he needs it faster. So his overall stats right now, he's at 62,000 HP, 5,100 defense, 304 speed, which I definitely would love to get higher, but that's what I managed right now. And then 539 accuracy. The resistance would be nice if I could get it really high, but it's not part of his build. The accuracy is definitely the best or the most important part, you know, other than like survivability. And being able to get this higher would also be really nice, but it'll do right now. And then for masteries, I do have him also with the Brimstone Blessing, which I have him 6-star because I've bought his his awakenings. But yeah, so just Brimstone on him, and because it's 6-star awakened, Death's Might is guaranteed and it's protected, which is awesome. And then for masteries, I've gone down the defense and support, so just extra bulk, being able to remove a debuff when he takes a bigger hit. Delayed death is always great, and then counterattacks because his A1 can give him turn meter, and then if the target is burned, it also gives turn meter to everybody else. And then I went accuracy, and I went with the healings. In all honesty, you could probably take out the Healing Savior and Merciful Aid, and maybe even a Swarm Smiter, and then go for Rapid Response, go for Arcane Celerity just for extra turn meter, and then even Cycle of Magic just for that extra bit of decreased cooldown on his skills. Because again, if you can just A2 all the time, that's ideal. But yeah, I went Spirit Haste just to make him faster when there's dead allies so that he can go ahead and revive them as quickly as possible. And I did Oppressor for turn meter fill so that he can get faster because he's doing the burns. And then extending the duration of his burns. Then I used Marishka, who I got very lucky and pulled her as well. She's a ridiculous support. For gear, I just kind of have her in broken pieces just to give her as much stats as possible. Honestly, right now I have her in an HP boot that's got the extra stat of speed. This could potentially just be a speed boot and then try and get the HP from other stats, because right now her speed is not where I would like it to be. But having her HP really high is also great because she heals based on her HP, and it's a big heal, and she also does shields based on her HP. Because it's 40% of this champion's max HP, which goes up to 48% when booked. And then the shield is 20% of her max HP, and then it goes up to 24. So getting her HP up really high is great, but the speed probably will end up being better. I just haven't gone through and fixed it, or I guess changed it in general. I think also, so Furion, I have him with the Wand of Submission just for that extra bit of speed, and then getting the chance of reflecting the control debuffs is awesome. It's not necessarily needed, but I just wanted the extra stats for him, and he's one of my most used champions, so using the free one that everybody got on him was an easy pick. Marishka, I've got her with the Journal of Necrotos because it helps with the healing and turn meter. I don't have a whole lot of great relics, and then this also helps increase her stats, which actually right now I've got her just at a +6. I'm gonna go ahead and make this really quickly level 9 because that'll give her more stats, and that's always a nice thing, both HP and defense, which is great. So now we can go ahead and look. So it's giving her 3100 HP and some defense, and then at this level it's giving 21 extra healing, 21% extra healing, and turn meter boost, which she does both. So I figured it's a pretty good one on her. Her stats, she's at 121,000 HP, 4200 defense, so can take very well. 277 speed, which again I wish it was a lot higher, but it's not terrible for not having speed boots. 500 resistance, which I also wish was better, but with her cleansing skill, she's also increasing the resistance of all your allies, so it kind of makes up for it. And then for masteries, I've got her with defense and support as well, a bit of resistance, taking a little bit less crit damage on this one. She's increasing the value of shields and healing on herself. And then Shadow Heal is great on her. Delayed Death is always great. And then the Retribution for counterattacks, and then getting turn meter whenever an ally is attacked with a crit is awesome, especially for like arena and stuff. And then she's just gotten more HP, gone down the healing side, rapid response for her buffs, so whenever they go away they have a chance of turn meter. Lore of Steel is always great if you've got good gear that raises stats. Lasting Gifts, great on her. And then Timely Intervention to have a chance of gaining turn meter whenever, or I guess gains turn meter whenever an ally HP drops below 25%, which, since she's a really good healer, being able to hopefully get a turn right after something like that happens and then heal and shield and strengthen is really, really good for her. But yeah, and then for blessings, I got Temporal Chains. I don't know if that's the best one for her, but it helps. All it is decreases the enemy's speed for each active buff they are under, except for buffs placed at the start of the round. So not a bad one. If it was on a 6-star, that would be awesome, and then all the extra stats would also be great, but it's fine. And then I'm using Lydia. I am using Lydia and Seer on the team, so Lydia is there for the decreased defense, weaken, and for the buff she places, so that Seer can strip them. And she's not technically getting rid of the weight or the other champions in the boss as well as I wish, mostly because Harima is decreasing the amount of ignore defense there is, so it makes it really, really hard. And then I don't have my Seer build with as much crit damage as I wish she was under, but it is what it is. So she is built with perception gear and then just some extra pieces to give her some bulk. So she's looking at 71,000 HP, 4,300 defense, 271 speed, which could also be faster, but it works. 521 resistance, because I do like her being with high resistance, especially when I used her more in arena before, since she's got that really nice arena resistance aura. It was really good. And then 529 accuracy, which Definitely could be better, but for most cases, this is enough. Relics, I've got Rod of Blasphemy, honestly, mostly for the stats. But it does help if she does have some debuffs on her. Being able to take less damage for each of those debuffs is not bad. And then I've got Brimstone on her, because I use her in a lot of content, including boss content, so it was just really good for her. And then for Masteries, again, because I use her in a lot of boss content as well, I've got her under the offense with War Master. And then for support, I've gone Accuracy, Exalting Death, just for a little extra healing, Rapid Response, Arcane Celerity, and then she's got the Cycle of Magic, mostly just so that I could get to the Lasting Gifts, because it's great for her. Lore of Steel, because then she gets the extra stats, and then Master Hexer, so she can extend the duration of her debuffs as well. And then I'm also using Tremaria. She's there because she's a really good control champion, and she's Void Affinity, so she's not weak hitting. She still has that 3% chance to be resisted, but it's better than, having somebody that can weak hit, because that's always annoying and makes it so that the runs are way less consistent. I've got her build with some Pinpoint and some Feral. Yeah, so I've got her with those pieces for accuracy and for speed. So she's looking at 61,000 HP, 4,800 defense. The HP could definitely be better, but it's fine. 321 speed, which also could be better, but it's useful in most places. She's got a decent amount of crit rate and crit damage, not a decent amount, but crit rate wasn't my plan, but she kind of hits hard as well, so it doesn't hurt. I wanted to build her with higher resistance as well, just because she's a cleanser. So 390 is okay in a decent amount of areas, but for like PvP and stuff, usually it's not enough. 518 accuracy, which could also definitely be higher, but it's pretty good for most content. And then relic-wise, I've got Molten Death Bell. A big reason for it is for the accuracy, but also since she's stunning and she can place Fear with her A1, being able to get that extra turn meter, which right now it's at 14% turn meter whenever she applies one of those debuffs. It's really, really nice. I've got Temporal Chains on her as well. This isn't like necessary for the dungeon, it's just what I have them on. And then for masteries, I went defense and support. I actually recently changed it. I used to have her on offense because I was thinking of using her more on boss content, which she still is decent on, but I figured actually defense and support would be much better. And then going with Eagle Eye made a nicer, like more comfortable accuracy threshold on her, because before it was kind of iffy. So I did a little bit more resistance, increasing the amount of healing and shields she receives, less AoE damage, shadow heal just to get a little bit extra healing, although Resurgent wouldn't have been bad on her since she's not built with crazy high resistance. Delay Death is great. Being able to put Leech out there whenever she places either her fears or her stuns is really, really nice, just for a little bit extra healing. And then just Retribution and Deterrence just for counterattacks, since she does do decreased speed with her A1. It's an AoE, and she can put fears out there. I figured it's pretty good for her. And then she's also immune to fears, like sleep, stuns. It's not all control debuffs, but it's a few. So most of the time she's gonna be able to use her A1 as a counterattack whenever an enemy places some of the control debuffs. And then I went accuracy, exalting death, and then I went for both rapid response and arcane celerity, since she does block debuffs, and she's also putting debuffs out there, right? Lore of Steel for extra stats, Sniper so that she has a higher chance of placing her decreased speed, and then Eagle Eye for the extra accuracy. And then my last champion is gonna be Seer. I have her with a 6-star Awakening Soul. But I have not been able to pull any extras here since they added the Epic Empowerment. So that's unfortunate. That would definitely be really, really helpful. But it's still fine, I guess. So I've got her build with Savage and two-piece Cruel Set. And then I put her with 1-piece Pinpoint just for extra accuracy, because it doesn't hurt to have her with accuracy so that you can strip your opponent's buffs as well. She's mostly a PvE champion for me, so 384 is usually good for most places. Her stats, I've got her at 57,000 HP, 2900 defense, so bulky enough for a good amount of places. 3900 attack, which is not crazy, but it's good enough. Her A1 hits pretty hard, so I wanted her to have a decent amount of attack. 236 speed, which could definitely be faster. I think she's my wave clearer in like Doom Tower and stuff, so I don't want her to be too crazy fast so that she doesn't outspeed my other champions in there, but I think she could easily be at like 250 and still be fine. And then 100 crit rate, 305 crit damage, which again, I wish that was a lot higher, because it's not consistently killing everything, especially when it comes to like event dungeons and stuff. And then especially, again, with Harima being in the event dungeon, so I'm not ignoring as much defense as I wish I was. And then she's got a bit of resistance, which isn't bad in most PvE places. She's resisting a decent amount. And then again, the 384 accuracy, which for most places, it's pretty good for her. I've got her with a Malefic Talon, so that's helping bring in more crit damage, some HP, and then just having that extra chance of dealing more damage. 10% more damage when attacking. Right now, it's a 30% chance to deal more damage, which just helps her take care of those wave and other champions, right? I've got her with Crushing Ren, which is where the biggest part of her ignore defense is coming from. So right now, at 6 stars, every hit ignores 1% defense for every 10 levels. So on most high stages, she's ignoring like 35% defense, which is awesome. And then I've got her with the offense and defense masteries. So she's, crit rate, some crit damage, dealing more damage when she's on full HP, increases damage. I mean, like the normal. I've got her with Helm Smasher just so she can get closer to true damage. But I almost think potentially getting her with Flawless Execution just for that extra bit of crit damage might be better for her, just to stay more consistent. And then for defense, she's just a little bulkier, less damage from AoE attacks, chance of removing a debuff when she takes a big hit, taking less damage for the more hits she receives by the same enemy, and then counterattack. Right now, with the Crushing Rend and with her build, right now she's ignoring 30 defense with the Savage and Cruel set. And then with Crushing Rend, like I said, most of the time in like the high ends, you're ignoring about 35% defense. So she's combined ignoring like 65%, which again, it's not true damage. So it'd be nice to get her closer. I don't have like Cat's Gaze or whatever to make it that much closer to true damage, which would definitely be nice. But I would have to test it out and see whether Helm Smasher is best or if maybe Flawless Execution, just because this is like a constant 20% more crit damage while this is only a 50-50 chance of triggering. And even with this on, I'm getting like a 90% ignore defense, which is still great, but it's still not fully true damage, right? But yeah, those are the builds for them. And then I'll really quickly show you my team setup for the event dungeon. So I've managed to make it all the way to stage 30. It's definitely not the fastest team. It's pretty consistent. I do fail every once in a while. I want to say maybe like 9 times out of 10, maybe like even higher percentage than that. I'm winning the battles, but every now and then I'm losing if I get very unlucky. But yeah, let's really quickly go through the team comp. So Mariska, I have her opening up with the Nurtured Friendship just for extra turn meter, but then her first choice is always Font of Tenacity. That way she can keep everybody alive as best as possible, especially Sulfurion. He's the one I want alive the most. Sulfurion, I have him opening up with his Blazing Barrier, but I have him using that as his second choice because if there's anybody dead, I'd rather him immediately go to his Revival skill and then to his burn, especially because his Revival skill grants an extra turn, so it's not like he's missing out or anything. Tramaria, I have her opening up with the stun attack, and then her first choice is going to be her turn meter fill, cleansing, and block debuffs. Mostly for the cleansing and the turn meter fill, just so everybody else can go fast. But the block debuffs definitely does help, although sometimes if the enemy ends up stealing it, it kind of can hurt. But because of Lydia's A2, having the block buffs out there definitely does help make it less likely for him to be able to steal it. And then Lydia, I have her opening and just prioritizing her AoE decrease defense and weaken, because it also gives increased speed and strengthen on your team, which again helps keep your team faster than the boss. And then for Seer, we have her opening up with Karm Burn and then never using it again, not using Clan Banner because increased crit rate is not going to do a whole lot for your side, and Lydia's already placing Weaken, and then if the boss ends up stealing your buffs and gets the increased crit rate, it's not great. And then her A1, like I said, hits decently hard, so just getting the A1s after that is good enough. Plus, you've got the Brimstone damage from Sulfurion. Lydia can also place Brimstone, so that's what's mostly causing the majority of the damage to the boss after it dies. But yeah, there's the comp right there. I guess I'll really quickly run it for you guys, and then I'll be right back. There we go. Definitely not the fastest. When I did the fastest time, I had a different team comp. I wasn't using Mariska and was using Ramantu. That way I could remove the passive for Harima, and then Seer was capable of taking out the other champions immediately, which was very nice. But it wasn't a consistent team. It was definitely a lot less survivability maybe like a 50-50 maybe of winning the battle or not, you know. So not the most comfortable team composition. This is definitely a lot more fail-safe, you know. And I have fixed my people a little bit since I did like a lot of runs last time, so this might actually be more of like an 100% team than it was before. But again, it's not super fast, so this is definitely one that I would like run if I'm not doing anything else or overnight or whatever. It's not a speed run, which I wish it was, but to get those like speed running champions, you need really, really crazy gear, and you need specific support champions that can make it so that your damage dealers can like not only get faster but like deal all the extra damage and whatnot. So it takes a lot of specific champions to make it work, which I don't feel like I necessarily have everybody that is required in order to do stuff like that, but it's fine. This works for now. But there you go. Hopefully, you know, this team comp, again, it's a difficult one because I do have some really good champions. I've gotten lucky with them, but for those of you who do have these champions and haven't tried out the event dungeon, or who have some similar-ish champions that can maybe get the job done, the Marishka is literally just here mostly for her protection, but either potentially somebody that brings in revive on death, or maybe like a God Seeker that can help revive and protect people or whatnot. Like, there's a lot of other potentials. Marishka's just there because she's the best one I've got that can help protect my team, so that it's more of an 100%, you know, team. But yeah, there's other options for sure. Hopefully this helps anybody build a team, even if, again, they don't have the same champions. But yeah, that's gonna be it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully it helped some of you out. And until the next video, guys, take care.